HarperCollins presents Lawfare, written and read by Geoffrey Robertson, K.C. Chapter 1. The Weapons of Lawfare. The ogre does what ogres can, deeds quite impossible for man. But one prize is beyond his reach. The ogre cannot master speech. About a subjugated plain, among its desperate and slain, the ogre stalks with hands on hips, while drivel gushes from his lips. August 1968, W. H. Auden's depiction of Leonid Brezhnev's invasion of Czechoslovakia applies with even greater force to Vladimir Putin as he gushes lies to justify his barbaric attack on Ukraine. These lies are, for people in Russia, facts, and his lickspittle MPs have rushed through a law to make it a crime for anyone to deny them by publishing the truth. Such censorship is anathema to a nation like Britain, which boasts of its history and tradition of free speech. But wait a minute. As a top court once pointed out, free speech does not mean free speech. It means speech hedged in by all the laws against defamation, blasphemy, sedition, and so forth. It means freedom governed by law. And, as this book will show, governed by lawyers, who act for the very rich to wage a bloodless but nonetheless scary war in the form of litigation against those who attempt to criticize or expose them. Lawfare, in this sense, has come to mean the use of legal strategies to harass or intimidate publishers, to make them pay, literally, in large and unrecoverable, even if they win, legal fees, and in heavy damages and their own legal fees if they lose. This is not a new problem, but it has come into recent focus as publishers of prescient books about Putin have been frightened and deterred by lawyers acting for his oligarch friends, threatened with legal costs that can run into millions of pounds. Well, you cannot blame lawyers for using the law, but that law is antipathetic to serious journalism, and must be reformed if the Fourth Estate is to function effectively in our democracy by scrutinizing the wealthy and the powerful. Lawfare is a weak pun with a pejorative tinge when used by those on the receiving end of writs for libel and breach of privacy. The term originated in America in the 50s, when first used by army chiefs who objected to legal actions brought by civil liberties groups over discrimination in the military. In Australia, lawfare has been denounced by government ministers upset by environmentalists whose lawyers have closed down coal mines. And in Brazil, the label was hung on the right-wing judicial organs that concocted corruption allegations against the country's once and future president, Lula da Silva. Israel disparagingly accused pro-Palestinian activists of lawfare when they tried to stop its foreign minister from coming to London. But its own supporters in the US, who funded legal action against supporters of sanctions on Israel, call themselves the Lawfare Project. In Britain, perhaps the best example of lawfare against freedom of speech was Mrs. Thatcher's courtroom crusade to stop newspapers from reporting any details of former MI5 officer Peter Wright's autobiography, Spycatcher, while many copies of the book were being sold in the United States and around the world. The word came into current vogue in Britain in 2022 as a description
Sample complete. Ready to continue?